That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's a family affair. Happy 2025 to you. Jadu and Jonah here at the Banking Bros at the Cash Compound are going to walk and talk you through how to have this family financial fortune conversation with your loved ones. All right, Jonah, happy 2025 to you. Welcome back.
Hey, thanks. I'm here. I'm feeling good, and it'll be a good year, I think, this year.
Only if you go along the journey with your family and friends. If you want to go far, you go alone. Nope. If you want to go fast, you go alone. Is that how it works?
Yeah. If you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, you got to go together.
Together. So we're talking about family here, and the reason is many of you recently, along with us personally, who practice this idea of the save and spend system, have had family time over the holidays.
That's right.
And because we've had family time, we actually had it with the parentals. And we've got some tips, we've got some tricks, we've got some things to think about, and some lessons learned from some of you who may have gone through things the hard way in 2024. So let's talk about leveling up, not just personally to go fast, but to go far with the people you love the most.
Yeah, so the cool thing about being around family at the holidays, right, is that you get lots and lots of time to talk about things. So in our family, we like to play games. So we spent lots of time playing games over the holidays, which is really, really fun. And I really enjoy doing it. But we had a few moments, like a lot of the videos that we've shot here before on our channel, honestly, where we say, you should have conversations with your family about this. Here's some groundwork for how you do it. We had the opportunity to have some of those conversations with some of the family that was in town. So we wanted to give you kind of twofold, like let's give you a little bit of a recap, and then at the same time, let's give you more of an outline for here's how you can do this as well. This is really important. We think that you should have the opportunity, if presented to you, know what to do in order to actually talk to your family about things. So that's kind of the summary of the episode, right? The outline. And now let's get into the content.
And as we move and transition to the content, just want to remind you, ladies and gentlemen, we have a free cash consultation for you and yours when you're ready. So just last night, Jonah, I had a Google Meet and a Zoom with a family that happens to be local to where we live, and they had a family member on. So this is a his and hers situation and recorded conversation, private for them. But they had son-in-law on the call as well.
Okay.
They had briefed him about, hey, infinite banking is this, isn't this, we want you to see. And so they brought him along for the ride. So I was able to chat with him, give him an update and an overview and say, hey, here's where the family money is moving to. This is what you need to know, because one of the things that we're going to get to in the content here, Jonah, is reminding people that if we're leaving a legacy for our family, they probably should know the 1-800 number.
They got to, right? They got to, in order so they can know how to go get the money or make it easier on them, right? If you don't tell them and you pass away, they don't know what number to call. They don't know that they should pick up 1-800. You know what I mean?
Right. So remember, ladies and gentlemen, life insurance companies, if you're going to have a life insurance benefit, pass on to your family, friends, church, or charity. Life insurance companies do not reach out to those beneficiaries. Okay, beneficiary, singular, beneficiaries, you can leave it to one of all 6 of your kids. It does not matter, but they do not call them. So there is a responsibility of the insured, the owners, the people using policies and using these things to actually, in my opinion, create a digital file, a digital asset that is shared with folks. Obviously, there can be a file cabinet too, if you want a physical asset that people know, or they at least know the agent or something like that, or the broker, so they can make that phone call. So shout out to that family last night. If you happen to know who you are, shout out to you guys. And over Thanksgiving, the last time we were with our folks, I also got a call from a family in Virginia. He and his brother had been watching our content for several months, maybe years. They put mom on the phone. So mom is in her mid-60s, I believe. And so mom is on the phone. So I'm in our mom's room talking to their mom, a set of brothers from Virginia, about utilizing infinite banking in their life. So it's a thing that you should be, it's a conversation you should be having. Now, Jonah, before we get into the content, I want to ask you a question. Yep. I know you have just as many conversations as I do, but I want your take on this. There are a lot of people out there who end up being maybe the nerd in their family, the money person.
I can understand that.
And they're the ones who are interested in our content.
Yep.
And they have a +1 or a +10 because of kids or parents or aunts and uncles, grown children. And they're the one who's paying attention to this podcast right now, listening to us, watching our video on YouTube. And they are challenged with the idea of sharing this idea with their family.
Yep.
And then we don't hear from them again. Because they struggle at helping other people see the light.
Well, this is the episode for them then. So let me give a little piece of advice, right? And it's about having conversations with your family, but it's about how you approach the conversation. That's a really big, important, key piece. So think about it. Think about someone else in your family that maybe loves, I don't know, maybe a little kid, right? We were all around the little kids for the holidays. We should look up what the most popular gifts were this holiday season. Every year, that's always fun to go look at.
Tickle Me Elmo is the last one I paid attention to.
But, like, let's pretend that there's a little kid that's talking to you about Pokemon cards. They just love them so much. And they come up and they go, Blastoise and Charizard and everybody else, right? I'm out. Like, I'm out. But it's about how you approach the conversation. What if the little kid walked up to you and said, hey, I actually want to tell you something about Pokemon. Do you think that you could pay attention for 1 minute? This is really important. I want to explain it. Now, again, little kids don't talk like that. But if a little kid did talk like that, I can give him a minute. I can, right? And I'll pay attention to what he's saying for the minute, and I'll ask a question about Blastoise or whatever, right? Like, well, why does he have the cannon on his back with a shell? You know, how would he carry it? You know, that sort of thing. Does that make sense? So it's about how you approach them. So here's some things that I could give for that person out there who is very interested in our content, creating an infinite banking system of policies for their family, for them, about life insurance, and here's how to approach it. The first thing is you've got to start with the basics. You've got to start with the basics, okay? Oh, here we go. From the back.
All right, for our producing team,
we've
just
got the
coughed
top
up
20 toys for Christmas 2024. This is interesting to me. I don't know any of them.
Okay, we got a Speed Champions McLaren F1 race car.
I don't even know what Speed Champions is.
So we got Lego race cars.
Okay.
Unicorn Academy Interactive Rainbow Light Up Wild Star. I don't know what the noun is.
Yeah, maybe a Wild Star. I don't know what that is. Pets
Alive, Mama Duck and Baby Surprise.
No idea.
So a pregnant duck toy.
Never. I don't know.
No.
Little live pets. My walking penguin.
Waddles.
Waddles.
Maybe these are one of those things that you wind them up, kind of, or they move all around.
Well, we can keep going, but it's not getting any better.
Uno, Show 'em No Mercy. We'll stop there. That is a game. We like games, and over the course of several game nights with our family, we definitely got into these good conversations about money.
You know what? I think I've seen this Uno. Uno, Show 'em No Mercy is
it spins around.
Oh, really?
Is that the one that spins around?
I don't know.
I shoots out lots of cards?
I thought it had like a bunch of draw 2s and draw 4s and stuff. Oh, yeah.
It's a draw 10.
There's a draw 10 in there for Uno, Show No Mercy. Yeah. That's what I thought. You got to get people with that. I'm not trying to play that, though.
Right.
Now you're playing Uno for an hour.
That's when you end up flipping the tables on your family.
All right, back to the content here. For those of you who are interested in sharing information with your family, key number 1 is how you approach the conversation, just like I mentioned. Hey, Mom. Hey, Dad. I actually have been learning about something. It's kind of important to me. I'm wondering if we can take 20 minutes to actually talk about it. Because Mom or Dad might come back and go, oh, yeah, let's do that tonight. I'm not ready right now. Woo, perfect, right? Later on that evening, you can go, hey, remember we were going to take 20 minutes? Would you go grab your computer really quick? Go grab a pen really quick.
Let's go move from the football game, and let's move into the dining room. Let's clear the table real quick. So, change of scenery. Could help.
Yep, so that way we can actually do it. Second, start with the basics. You can't assume that they've been learning alongside you. You've been listening, you've been reading, you've been watching. That doesn't mean that they have. So you've got to start with the basics.
So to throw our family under the bus, who loves us and they listen every once in a while, but I actually had that thought. I realized while we were talking and trying to share some information, and at times my personality wants to be heavy-handed around that, I realized, wait a minute, they have not been on the same journey. They do not read these books.
They don't know.
So I've got to be careful because I need to say, and one of your notes that I see here around basics, around whole life insurance, this can be really easy for people. One of the basics is I want to show you how to get the money that I bought for you.
Yep.
Everyone can take 20 minutes for that. Oh, you got me something?
There we go.
Yeah, I got you a gift.
We had
When I die, you need to know.
So let's relate that to the conversation that we had over the holidays, right? We learned, I think I did know this. I think I knew this. You probably knew it too, but I just didn't put it in the right compartment in my brain, I guess, to actually take action on it. But we were told, right, that our mothers got a term life insurance policy through a State Farm. And so for the first time during the conversation,
a lot of people have those.
For the first time during the conversation, my brain went, oh, save that information. Save that, like you're talking about digital file, save the phone number because if mom passes, someone has to call.
Yeah.
And I'm like, right? For the
100%.
first time, I went, oh, no, I have to, they have told me enough information for me to now have to be able to take action. I might have known it before and I just, whatever, right? But now it's like, oh, no, I've got to pay attention to
because we're normally not doing that around family. We're having pies and cakes. We're playing football in the backyard. We're watching it on TV. It's Wonderful Life just finished. Kids just keep talking about Pokemon.
There you go.
And we need to realize this is great. This is what I thought during our conversation. There were 1 or 2 or 3, and at one point I started to try to recap. Here are the 3 or 4 things we just figured out together. And there was enough of the family there, 2 parents, 4 of 6 children.
Yep.
Let's log that away as a group. And, I mean, Monday morning we can take care of, like, where's the phone number? But at least we know.
Yep.
Someone needs to text the family thread. Here's the policy number. Here's the phone number if you need to call my people. And one thing that was new for our family that we did not know that our parents, trying to be great legacy protectors, had done, I had no idea. Oh, you guys are all getting a 1/6 of the benefit. I didn't know.
I didn't know that either.
They never told us that.
Which is helpful to know.
Right.
Helpful to know, right? So that's a really, really important. You got to start from the beginning, right? Hey, everybody, I'm really interested in a life insurance conversation because I'm realizing that if one of us passes, it's going to cost money to get there. So we have this conversation kind of on multiple levels. We've got grandparents that are getting a little bit older. They're in their 80s.
Yep.
And our grandfather's mother just passed away at 98.
Yeah.
Right? And so what other time, of course, to have a conversation about the insurance aspects of your life insurance, leaving a legacy, benefits, then right after someone passes away, someone has just gone through it, right?
Yep.
And so here's what we're talking about. We're going, hey, well, grandma and grandpa live kind of far away from us. They legitimately, for us, live across country on the other coast.
Yep.
And then they don't live close to the airport. They live in a very, very small town. So if something happens to grandma or grandpa, hey, mom, dad, do you know about any funds coming? Because it's very tough for me to get my family of 5 over all the way across the country into a rental car, drive to that town. There's literally not a hotel in the town where they live.
There's one.
There's not.
It's not there anymore?
Right. I said, Mom, is the Best Western still there? It might be. Exactly. This is a problem. Like, we can't even sleep in the town. Like, what are we going to do? And so we had to have that conversation.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I know that they might be thinking, oh, no, well, when they pass, the job that they had will cover the burial. That's all cool, but people want to get to the funeral.
So let me bring that up as well. So our parents are military.
Yep.
Okay. So the military, the GI is supposed to issue them some funds.
Yep.
So they mentioned, for instance, they may be going overseas in 2025, and they mentioned, oh, well, we don't have to worry because in the event their parents, which we're calling grandparents, when grandma and grandpa have their demise, the military will automatically fly us back. I was like, well, they ain't flying me and mine across country. So you came out with a bold statement. If I don't have a check coming from someplace, I'm not going.
I'm not good. Well, and here's the thought process behind it,
I hope
folks.
Grandma is not listening.
Here's the thought process behind it, folks.
She loves you more than the other ones.
I'm not going into debt, taking a bill, not when I can have the conversation while everyone's alive. That's the caveat here. I'm going to call. I'm going to say, Grandma, can you tell me what's happening so far? What does Grandpa have? What do you have? Who's getting the money? That's important to me, because if our uncle, right, their son is getting a bunch of money, I'll also make that call. Listen, I'd like to go.
Yeah.
to this funeral. If you're the beneficiary, you're their son, you're getting a bunch of money if they pass away. Can I put in the word now to earmark 3,000 of those dollars so I
Right.
can get to the funeral?
Can I get a plate
Yeah.
for the funeral
And
dinner?
and again, think about if you approach these conversations correctly, are you turning that down? Think about it. If we were just told from our parents, right,
Yeah.
that we are going to get a sixth of the death benefit that they have. So think about a nephew. I know they're little now. Think about my son calling you.
Yeah.
As a grown up and saying, hey, I know that you're going to get a sixth. I've got 4 people to fly over. I'd really like to go to grandma's funeral. Can I earmark like 2,000 of those dollars so I can get there?
Sure. Right.
I'm going to, yes.
And right now,
All good.
yes, we're going all over the place with this, but I think our listeners are probably really appreciating this type of conversation. And I forgot, honestly, that Grandpa's mother passed a month ago.
Yeah.
Like, I forgot about that because that was well enough removed from us that it wasn't something we were going to attend. But there are a lot of people out there who need to recognize, and this is what's been on my mind recently, it's the urgent important matrix. If you've seen that before, we're talking about a quadrant of squares. So we've got a scale on the left side that says not important to important. Okay, that's the scale on the left side of the vertical axis. And then the other axis, the horizontal axis, whichever one that's called, is urgent to non-urgent.
Okay.
Okay, so the top left corner would be something that is important and urgent.
Yep.
That's called a crisis.
Yep.
That's called an emergency.
Yep.
Okay, so if we
take
go
care of those
below that,
immediately.
yeah, it's still urgent, but it's not important. Urgent and not important. That's something that is normally interrupts you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's urgent, it's not important. Okay, so that would be children running up to you with their Christmas presents and saying, I got to talk to you now.
Yep.
Not important. It's important to them. We understand that. Like, we love our kids, but like, it's not actually
In
important.
the scheme of things,
It's
not super important.
Not, but it's urgent.
to
They're
them.
in your face.
Yep.
Okay. Bottom right corner. Bottom right corner is now not urgent and not important.
Yep.
Got to eliminate that mess.
Social media.
Distraction.
Getting you like crazy.
Eliminate. Delegate. Get it out of your life.
Snapchat and chatted me.
Right.
Not important.
Okay. Not
and
important
urgent.
and not urgent. Now,
Nope.
the top right quadrant, quadrant 2, is the one. If you guys have seen this before, look it up. Some of you have known it. You saw it in college. You've seen it in some books. It's non-urgent and important.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you want to spend your time.
Yeah.
Not urgent, but very important. And that's
that
why
means getting to it before it's a crisis. So important, but you got to get to it before it's a crisis.
And
right?
that's
Not
exactly
urgent, but it's super important.
I mentioned that. See, we did not set up. We came into our family conversation the other night without pre-planning,
right.
and so the rest of our family having a good time, chilling. They started to try to make fun of us. It was a thing that was, oh, these guys want to talk about something important. But it ain't important. Now they're trying to get me to die, which is all the same stuff I started saying mentally to myself when someone's trying to introduce me to infinite banking.
Yep.
Oh, they're trying to get me to die. That's obviously not important. We're just trying to eat cake. But we've got non-urgent and important. It's something that if we cover the basis now, it never has to be urgent. It never has to be urgent. And it become a crisis. It never becomes an emergency. Just where's the family file or who's in charge of it, who's got the paperwork or something like that. And so when we're talking about this, you know, our mom is in her 60s, early 60s. She just hit 60. It's, Mom, whatever you want to do is completely fine with us. That's what we're trying to allow you to communicate. The issue would become if you don't communicate, you don't think about it, and then we're left, quote unquote, holding the bag.
Yep.
And who's supposed to take care of you? Where are you supposed to live? What happens if you're sick? What happens, power of attorney? Where's the money at? Whatever. Can you just let us know?
And it's very, very important. But again, at the time that we were talking about it, not super urgent. Nobody's super old yet. Nobody's passing away. Nobody's in terrible health yet. You know, that's those sort of things. Yeah. We had another conversation. So I had 2 other conversations along the same lines that we're talking about today that were not specifically about life insurance. So we've got a younger sister that's actually dealing with some health problems.
Right.
Thinking that actually she's going to be diagnosed with a chronic illness here coming up actually during the month of January. I've got 3, 4, 5 appointments during the month of January. I think during the month of January, I'm getting the diagnosis. And I said to her, oh my goodness, if you're going to get diagnosed with a chronic illness, there are insurances, health-wise, that we need to go get you immediately, because as soon as you are have the diagnosis, you don't qualify for them anymore.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So again, we're in a important but not urgent. Well, that one might even be crossing over into urgent, right?
Yeah,
we've got to move now, right? Because we weren't set up or planned for these things, or we just didn't communicate appropriately, or she didn't know.
She didn't know. Sort of thing. She didn't know.
Right?
She's 21. She didn't know.
We had a little bit of a conversation about some other things. I've got a different sister that was dealing with shoulder pain or something. So they're using the electronic muscle stimulation machine on her shoulder. She's saying, oh, maybe I'll go get one of these. I say, oh, well, people are looking it up. We've got a different person in the family that literally added it to the Amazon cart while they're talking. And I go, well, hold on, everybody. That's HSA and FSA eligible. You guys need to use those cards. And then what is that? What's happening? Oh, right. So now we're important, not super urgent. No one's dying, but I'm going, oh, we got to know about HSAs and FSA. Let me tell you about them really quick. We've got this family going, oh, you know what? Actually, I saw that recently when I got the new job, blah, 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 but I didn't know what it was, so I didn't do it, right? And this person's going, well, hold on, but you got to have a high deductible plan. Well, let's pull up your plan. Is your plan qualifies for this? You need to go get one. You know what I mean? So you can have lots and lots of different conversation about that, but again, I think it's those 3 things that we talked about. It's how you approach the conversation. That's super important. If you set it up appropriately, if you call, text, email people before you even show up to the holidays to say, hey, everybody, just want to let you know, I've got something really important I want to talk about. I need an hour. I'm going to ask you for an hour during this weekend. Then I'm going to need you, right? That's helpful.
Bring your numbers, or remind me what your blood type is before we get here. Right. Yeah, anything.
Start with the basics, right? Start with the basics. That's important. Okay, I want to talk about life insurance, for the example. How much do we know? Does anyone know anything? Right? Somebody might go, no, I don't know nothing. And the other person might go, no, I know all about life insurance. I've got 3. And you didn't even know that, right? That happens all the time because people have them through work and all this stuff. We get on the phone with lots of people who are just like that. Oh, you know what? I do think I have a policy here or there.
Right. I got an accidental death and dismemberment.
Right.
You know what? I think I do have a term policy for life insurance that I bought. But I bought it 20 years ago, so I never think about it anymore.
Looked at it
I haven't looked at it. It might expire or something.
Then the last thing I think is just highlight the benefit. The reason why I'm talking to you about it is actually because I'm realizing that if Grandma passes away, I'm getting a $4,000 to $5,000 bill if I want to attend this funeral with my family.
And then think about this: we had to bring this up as well in this bill category. There are many people out there that we've had to talk to, and they call us after the fact that mom, grandma, grandpa got sick. They went to visit to care for them, took off work. Then there was the demise. Then there was the grief. Then there was the planning. Then there was cleaning out their house. And they just took a month off work.
I had to talk about that too. I said, talking to my mom, I said, Mom, what are you doing with the house? Oh, well, we don't want the house. We're going to sell the house, demolish the house. It's pretty old, right? All that stuff. Okay, no worries. What are you doing with the cars? Well, I don't know. Exactly. These are across the country. You driving them back, you selling them that week. So you do realize you're now there a week, 2 weeks, trying to figure this all out. Do you want your children with you? Do you want any of us to stay with you? Right? We've got to talk about it. And that's
this is her mother. This is grandma's situation.
Right. And that's why you have these conversations.
Here's another one. I mentioned one of our coaches on our team here at the Cash Compound. We have a team of coaches, and one of them just last week on our live experiences. We go live on Thursdays at noon Eastern time, by the way, ladies and gents. We introduce you to our coaches and the people all across the country in our network who can help you with the save and spend system. And I mentioned last week or the week before that these dollars that come in, just life insurance, help you grieve well. They allow you to grieve well. Because how much emotion are we going through when we're also going through the yearbooks and going through the clothes and going through the cars?
Do you really want to worry about 1-800-JUNK and selling the cars and you're sad? You can't see good.
Right. While your family is at the house and you're trying to have lunch,
Right.
and talk about the good times.
Right.
So one of our coaches, it hit her right home because apparently, and she's about 30 or so, and she had a friend who she went to school with die early, just passed, and she caught on to that idea of these dollars allow people to grieve well. When your grandmother dies and you lived with her for a summer or two.
Yep.
She's been a big part of our lives the entire time. I'm the oldest kid, so I've known her in the youngest years, and she's always been a part of our lives. We love her, but we live far away. We all have children now. Do you want a bill when she dies?
I do not.
Right. Now you're sad, and you have a bill.
Yep.
And your kids are still trying to talk about Pokemon on the airplane. Like, come on. Or a 5-day, for us, with children, that's a 5-day drive.
It's I'm not going to drive it. That's well, I mean, right. We got to have a conversation. But
okay,
one other thing we talked about with our family over the holidays was this idea of pooling money actually together from the kids or grandkids. We're grown, right? In order to actually buy life insurance on the parents or the grandparents.
Yeah.
So the idea, of course, was in our family, grandma and grandpa are in their 80s. Again, grandpa's mother just passed away. She was 98. So if you think about life expectancy, maybe we've got 10, 15, or 20 more years for grandma and grandpa, right?
Yep.
And so the idea is, well, let's plan now, like we talked about our quadrants, when it's really important but not super urgent. And what about, hey, kids, my parents, my uncle, and our generation, my brothers and sisters, what about if we pool the money and we go buy the life insurance on grandma and grandpa, so when they pass, we can then split the proceeds evenly. Nobody gets a bill, and everybody gets the opportunity to grieve well, to take the time off of work, to meet across the country for the funeral, to go through the pictures and photo albums, to reminisce about the good old days, and we all get to do it without actually any monetary loss. To use all your sick days, you don't have to do any of that.
Right.
Like everybody can do it. And if we all pool together, our costs, of course, are relatively low compared to just one person doing it.
Compared to an urgent emergency bill of $5,000, why don't I pay my $5,000 of premiums, my portion of the premiums over the course of the next, hopefully, 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and then have a payout that could be double, triple that when the time comes. And now it is a non-issue. What's interesting about this, Jonah, is the people who have prepped for this, the stress level is so much less and lower, it's kind of hard to realize that you've been blessed and benefited. But the people who have missed that opportunity, or their folks never had that conversation or kept it hidden, there's people out there who got a bill for $5,000, $10,000 and then got a check a year later because they didn't know there was a check. There's all sorts of stories here.
Yep.
But they realized the stress wasn't worth it. I would have rather paid my percentage way before this, so I didn't have to deal with it. Also, so you don't have to deal with the, we're all grown now. We all have our own families, our own plus ones and little ones running around. We don't have the same opinion about everything. We don't agree on everything anymore. But I think we'll all take a check when there's a loss.
That's right.
Yeah, so the point is, it doesn't mean that everyone is showing up to the funeral. It doesn't mean that everyone wants mom's couch or mom's fine china. But it now allows us to have the option.
Yep.
We had the conversation with, so we have several sisters, and they're younger than us, and only one is married. None of them have children. And so we were also saying, like, in the event that there is a long-term health situation, or even a short-term health situation with our parents, at this point, if that happened, it's very likely that one of the girls would be in charge of taking care of mom.
That's right.
So maybe she should and would deserve more of the benefit. If she's going to go live, because I can't do it, I got to run a business.
That's right.
I've got little kids, but she doesn't, and she is very close to mom.
Mm-hmm.
So why doesn't she potentially go take care of mom, which happens in lots of families? Y'all know what we're talking about. We're trying to relate this to you based on our family, but there's so many of you. It's like, oh, there's one person who's retired who can go help. there's one person with no kids who can go help. Oh, there's one person who lives close who already has been helping for 20 years. Well, then honor that person's time and energy by making sure that they get reimbursed, covered, or they just have the mental wherewithal to be able to handle it. Maybe one person's going to handle the paperwork, the other person literally handles the bedpan, right? So let one person send the checks to the person who's actually just trying to make sure mom and dad are comfortable.
That's right. Before we continue, let's give a quick shout out to our fan follow of the week. This week, it is a young lady on our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is called The Banking Bros. If you have not checked that out, you surely should. We're coming out with at least 1, 2, 3 videos a week talking all things finance. I think most recently we had some videos that setting you up for 2025 or wrapping up 2024. We've got all of them out there. But this young lady's by the name of Cleopatra Leckie. She is a recent subscriber to our channel, and we really do appreciate you, Miss Cleopatra. So, if I'm not mistaken, when you subscribe, generally speaking, you're going to be notified of a few new videos that are coming out, or at least they're showing up on your homepage, your For You section, right? And so, Cleopatra, if you watch this one and realize we gave you a shout out, what you should do is leave us a comment. Type something in, ask a question. We'll come back to you and make sure we answer it, whether we do it in a podcast episode like this, or whether we do that on our live Ask Us Anything show that we do on Thursdays, live on YouTube, and of course, all of our other platforms as well. So, Cleopatra Leckie, we really do appreciate you. Thanks for subscribing. We hope you learned something. Let us know any thoughts, questions, or concerns, and we will definitely take a look at them.
Shout out to one of our former employees. One of our contractors worked with us all throughout 2023 doing our social media, had an unfortunate demise of her grandmother very recently. And I saw one of her posts on social media. We're going to, of course, protect her time and energy that she has to put into the grieving process, but we protect the wealthy around here. But she did post that her grandmother's legacy benefit toward her, as far as I know, there's a handful or so in her generation who got money. I know a couple of her family members, but she got a check she did not know was coming that paid off her student loans.
Nice.
So she had a complicated emotional relationship, many of us do, with our family members, but her grandmother in death left her a gift that rid her of another decade of payments that she was talking about that she was going to have to continue to pay, and she's already been paying them for a decade. So let's be reminded what life insurance is built for.
Yeah.
Life insurance is built for that legacy plan. It's built to cover your costs, indemnify you to your loss. And that's why Jonah is actually right on target when he says, look, if I'm going to take a loss going to the funeral, I can't go. But if I'm indemnified of the cost, of course I'll be there. This is my family. Jonah, I want to talk to you a little bit about this book. We've talked about it before. It's called Don't Spread the Wealth. And our Canadian friends up there in Alberta, Jason Lowe and Richard Canfield, came out with this book earlier in 2024. We've been on their show before. We love them up there at Ascendant Financial, and you can find them at Wealth Without Bay Street on YouTube. But they wrote this book, and it's all about the family conversation, the family meeting. And so here's a great guidebook to help you go through thinking exercises with your family when you're specifically not just talking about demise or long-term healthcare costs, but one of our bread and butter conversations around here. Infinite banking concept. So how using life insurance for cash while you're alive is going to benefit not just you, but your whole family. Subtitle is How to Leverage the Family Banking System to Own All the Gold, Make the Rules, and Enjoy Generational Riches.
Over the holidays, you've got plenty of time to chat with your family. We did, and hopefully some of those conversations were directed toward getting better in the future, right? Everyone makes New Year's resolutions. Everybody knows the gym's going to be packed for the next 2 months. But come month number 3, people's resolutions fall off. They start to lose the enthusiasm they had for a few things. Don't lose the enthusiasm that you have for teaching and talking to your family about what really matters. And like Jeremiah mentioned, let's talk to them when it's really important, always is, but not urgent just yet. That's so critical when you're teaching them about the infinite banking concept, when you're talking to them about what we can do with life insurance in our lives, whether that's for paying for final expenses, whether it's for retirement, whether it's for long-term care opportunities. That's what's important. So if you like this episode, make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you keep listening, and we'll keep diving into detail just like we did today. We hope you have a great rest of your year. Enjoy 2025, and let's go get it.
You are now tuned to the banking bro. Said we couldn't make it, drink or settle, this the life we chose. Gave a lot of game, we never got a lot of things. Bow your head and say the prayer, we taught you how to be the bank.